back to Ancient Mythos Project Pan. This was created by Darya, aka banshee.pans on Instagram, and it was a way to collide the panning world with Norse mythology. I am now on my 6th update of this project, and I think I have a pretty good update to share with you. So let's go over last month's prompts and products before we pick some new ones and see what we're going to do for the next month. So I do have some notes here because some of this is hard for me to remember as I am learning. This is all brand new to me. But the first prompt I have is for Hoder, which was the blind son of Odin and Frigg, and he was the twin brother of Balder. He was tricked into killing his twin brother by Loki by using a mistletoe arrow. So the prompt of this one was a product you keep overlooking, but it deserves a second chance. And when I brought this in, I said, I don't know if it really deserves a second chance or not, but I'm gonna give it a go and we'll see how things go. And it's not been great. 100% it's not been great. The product that I picked was Pharmacy's Clearly Clean. Now I do have to say Pharmacy's Green Clean was honestly like my favorite cleansing balm of all time. I love the smell, I love how it massaged on my face, it emulsifies, rinsed away. Mwah, chef's kiss, loved it. Hated the price, but anyways, so I thought this was just going to be the unscented version of this. This is pure utter crap. I'm just going to say that now. Like, I don't know what they did to this, but this is like, this represents nothing of that Pharmacy Green Clean. Like, there is no similarities between this and that product. Like, this is on its whole other level. I did make some notes about my times using it. So it's like when I used it to wash off swatches, worked great. Like, you wouldn't be able to tell that I even had a single problem with this product before. However, my second use, I used it on my face, in which I had just sunscreen on, and it left like a minor residue on my face. So it's like, okay, whatever, I can live with that. Just a second cleanse will get rid of that. Third time that I used it, it was the same as the second time, but I used a different sunscreen. So clearly it's not the sunscreen that doesn't work with this product. The fourth time was a full face of makeup with some sunscreen underneath, and when I tell you, this thing removed absolutely nothing. I mean nothing. It just smeared the product all around my face. It burnt my eyes. It took multiple washes to get it off. So for whatever reason, this product just does not like removing makeup. And when it's like it literally says in the name, it is a makeup melt away cleansing balm. When you can't even get rid of makeup. What? Why? So I'm going to keep this product, and that probably surprises a lot of people. And the reason for that is because when it comes to swatches, like, I don't know what the difference between a full face and swatches or anything is. Well, obviously like a lot, but it's all makeup in the end, but it gets rid of swatches. So this is officially going to become my swatch remover until it is gone. But this will not touch my face ever again, and I highly, highly recommend you don't give it a try. This has been since discontinued, and it doesn't surprise me. I think it definitely deserves that because this is unfortunately going to make up hell along with my NARS foundation and a lipstick of Julia's as well. On a happy note, my goal for every product I have is to use them at least 10 times, and that's because as much as I'm learning, and that's my core focus of this project pan, it is also a panning project. So I can happily say I suffered through exactly 10 uses of this product. Suffered through or was too stubborn not to hit my goal. I'm not really sure which one it was. On to happier products. The next one is for Saga or Saga. It's a goddess associated with history, storytelling, and prophecy, and she could usually be found drinking with Odin. So this one is a companion product, and I picked the Purito Centella Unscented Toner because I always pair this with my vitamin C. I can happily say in the past month I managed to get 30 uses out of this product. It definitely isn't my favorite Centella product, but at the end of the day it gets things done, it's in my collection, and I need to use it up. Next was a dual product prompt, and that was for Hugin and Munnin, which were two ravens that serve Odin, acting as his eyes and ears across the 9 worlds. And so the prompt of this was a pair of products you often use together. And for me, that was facial sunscreen and body sunscreen. So the facial sunscreen first, this was the Sun By Me V10 Hyal Airfit Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50. And unfortunately this just, when you put it on, it feels really good, but it easily melts and it runs into your eyes. So this 100% was a no. I did start setting my eyes and that definitely helped it, but it's like, I don't want the extra step when it comes to a sunscreen. I can happily say that I got down to the bottom of this in which I had to cut it open, and I did put it into this little jar here, and this is all I have left. This little jar holds about 20 mils, and I would say it's about 3/4 full, so I definitely gave it a good run this month. And the tallies agree. I used it 63 times. I am not someone who just applies sunscreen once. I definitely reapply through the day. My skin is the color of a tan piece of paper, so I need as much protection as I can get, which is why my numbers are usually a bit high when it comes to sunscreen. As for body sunscreen, I had 4 bottles of the Coppertone Sport 4-in-1 Performance Sunscreen SPF 50. I cut these open and scraped all the last little bits that I couldn't get out by like banging the bottle on the counter, leaving the bottle there for a couple of days for everything to drip down. So I scraped everything out that I could with these. Somehow, those 4 bottles managed to fill this container here, and I'm happy to say that I managed to use this up. I did get 31 uses out of the product that was left in those bottles. The last prompt I have was for Draupnir, and I'm gonna have to read this one because there's lots of numbers and like intricate things about it. So it's a magical gold ring owned by Odin that has the power to multiply itself by dripping 8 identical rings every 9th night. And the idea is that it symbolized endless wealth. So prompt-wise, this was a product that feels like it'll last forever. And I picked one of the biggest perfumes I have in my collection. This is a 100 milliliter bottle or 3.3 fluid ounces, and it is the Island Fantasy by Britney Spears. I thought picking this one was a good idea because it's kind of fruity, so it kind of goes with like the whole idea of spring. Unfortunately, spring for me really only started like a week ago, but that's okay. I did manage to get some really good uses out of this product. I did hit 30. So that is my update of how things went last month with the prompts. I think I did fairly good, especially given the fact that one of my products was literally the devil. So I think we did pretty dang good. However, it's now time to pick some new prompts and kind of mingle through my collection to see what I'm able to come up with. So my notes here say that we have 20 prompts left, so I'm going to set my phone here from 1 to 20, and the first number we get is 13, 9, 3, and nope, we can't do 13 twice, 15. So I'm gonna see what these line up with, grab some products, and we'll go over them. All right, I got the prompts and I got the products. So the first one was for Harbard. This was a mysterious figure best known as a disguised ferryman who engages Thor in a battle of wits, which is also known as either flitting or flighting. He is generally the god Odin in disguise, acting as a trickster who outsmarts and denies passage to Thor. So this one was a product you aren't quite familiar with, and I thought this would be the best opportunity to hopefully get some uses on my neglected product from my 50 Shades of Blue, which is the Sakoshi glue-free lashes in the NO3 Natural. I have never used single little lashes like this before. Like, they're not a band of lashes, they're the individual ones that you kind of tend to place. I have never used these before. I am also not a false lashes sort of person, so I think this was the best prompt I could get to potentially get some uses on these. Next was the prompt Bragi or Bragi, and it's a god of poetry, music, and eloquence, and he's renowned for his wisdom and long beard. And this one was a lip product. And again, I kind of took the opportunity to focus on a neglected product. And that is my product from the Lip Service Project Pan, which is my multi-stick from Ilia in the shade At Last. This is kind of a mauve-y sort of shade here, and I find it funny that I neglect it because I actually do enjoy mauves. I have others in my collection that I tend to reach for. So it just surprises me that this one is the least used product in that project, coming in at a whopping total 2 uses since January. The next prompt was for, I'm gonna say this one wrong, Naglfar? Oh, I always have the word up here in the corner so you can struggle with me. And this one just kind of made me shudder a little bit, but it's a legendary ship constructed entirely from the untrimmed toenails and fingernails of the dead. And this one I have a little bit different of a goal. So usually my goal is 10 uses. However, I do have a nail product that is so close to being done, and I would really like to use it up. And that is my favorite out of all of them, the Holo Taco Flaky Holo Taco. So as you can see, we have this one sitting on the side now. There's a tiny bit left there. I literally have to dig my brush in to get what's ever left. And I did put some thinner into it the other day to try and make it a little bit easier to use. And unfortunately, it's still a giant pain, so I definitely don't think I have a lot of uses left in this one. If I can do all fingernails in one go with this, I think at most I have 2 applications left, so it'd be really nice to get this out of my collection. Kind of bittersweet because like I said, it's my favorite one, so I'll miss it, but it'll be nice to get it out of my collection. And then the last product and prompt I have for you, I'll be honest, I try not to look at the prompts ahead of time. Like I like to have that mystery of kind of like what potentially could come. However, when I was putting together my notes, I put the prompts at the bottom, and this is one that I did see. And I was like, oh, I only have 1 of those in my collection. I'm not going to touch that until I get that prompt because I don't want to use up the product and then have no product for that prompt. So I'll be honest, I tried not to look at them, but oddly enough, this is the one that I saw. But it's for prompt number 15, and it's either Tyr or Tyr, and he was recognized as the one-handed god because he sacrificed his right hand to help bind the monstrous wolf Fenrir. And we had Fenrir as a prompt not too long ago. But this one is a hand lotion or cream. And literally, like, I have body lotions, I have face lotions, I have 1 single hand cream in my whole entire collection. And it is the Mary and May, this is the Soul Edition Shea Butter and Rice Brand Hand Cream. And when I tell you I stopped using this just to make sure that I had it left over, 100%. Like, I saw that prompt and I'm like, I'm not using that baby up because I don't want to buy a hand cream specifically for a prompt for a panning project. So those are my new prompts. We have the disguised ferryman known as Harbard. We have the god of poetry, music, and eloquence known as Bragi or Bragi. We have the legendary nail ship known as Naglfar. And then we have the one-handed god known as Tyr or Tyr. So that's what we're going to be working on this next month. I hope you come back and join me in a month's time to see how we're able to get through products, if we can use up that nail polish. I think if we can use up that hand cream, that would be super exciting. So yeah, I hope you join me next month to see what I'm able to do. But until then, I do have a shorts coming out tomorrow about my updated hair care routine, basically the products that I'm trying to get through right now. But my next video I have coming after today would be on the 23rd, which is my update for Turn and Burn. However, regardless of what video you decide to join me in next, I hope that you're having a great day. Hope the weather is awesome where you are. And until the next one, I hope the day treats you well. Bye.